folks. We'll be beginning in just a moment. I think the phrase is, talk amongst yourselves. That's a heavy note on a gray day, Jen. Bonjour tout le monde. Welcome everyone to the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa. Whether you are here in Worship Hall or watching from wherever you may be, whenever you may be, know that you are welcome in this time and in this place. I'm the Reverend Eric Meter, this congregation's lead minister.
And I'm Kate, your worship associate this morning. We acknowledge that our FirstU campus is located on traditional, unsurrendered, and unceded Algonquin Anishinaabe territory, and that the work of reconciliation is a responsibility of our congregation and of all Canadians. Our goal is to educate ourselves and all those that have the willingness to understand, to be of service to those who are at risk, and to advocate for justice.
The holidays are upon us. Pine trees now reside indoors. Our nights are nearing their longest. Our days are almost at their shortest. So let's begin our time together this morning by joining our voices in song. Please rise in body or in spirit as we sing together, O come, Emmanuel, number 225 in our gray hymnal. The lyrics should be above, and Jen is going to provide some extra help for all of us this morning. we sing the wisdom and the beauty of songs until we no longer need to sing them. And now we light our chalice to words adapted from those by my friend Lisa Day. Our ancestors got it right. The bonfires and the candles and the evergreen boughs, the libations and the songs and the prayers, all these bring light, if not the sun itself, into the deep darkness of winter. The actual light of the fires and candles and the spiritual light of hope and joy. Because though we cannot hasten the sun's return, we can bring the light. And so we light our chalice this morning because we can. Our chalice is lit. Come, let us worship together.
And now we turn to how we are together. As health challenges continue, do take advantage of online opportunities at FirstU to stay in touch. If you're new to FirstU and like to learn more about us, please contact us through our email at welcome@firstunitarianottawa.ca. And if you're right here in Worship Hall with us this morning and would like more information about FirstU, it is available at the welcome table at the back of the pews, and Jane is there to help you. And now here's Mariella from the board to highlight some announcements for today. Mariella.
Good morning. Last night, there was the most wonderful Advent spiral downstairs in the Now Room. It was hosted by our religious exploration team, Jody and Susan, and it involved music and candles and apples and Christmas boughs around. Anyway, they told me to let you know that they're reenacting that after the service today at 11:45 for anyone who might have missed it. So feel welcome to go down there and do that. I highly recommend it. Please note, there will be no morning Sunday service next Sunday on December 24th. Instead, please join us for one or both of our 2 Christmas Eve evening services. At 5 p.m., join us for a kid-centered family Christmas Eve service. Come ready for stories and songs as we celebrate together. At 7 p.m., there will be a contemplative service where we'll explore the blessings of the light and the darkness. And between those 2 services, at 6 p.m., we'd love to see you join us for a light meal of bread and soup. And now our music director, Jen Bernstein, has an announcement about an upcoming event on Thursday.
So this Thursday at 6:30 in Fellowship Hall, we'll be having a carol sing with some hot cocoa. Please feel free to come out. Even if you don't normally feel like a singer, maybe choir is too much for you, this is the perfect event to come out and enjoy singing, enjoy exploring your voice. We'll be in that room. We'll have, hot cocoa at 6:30. Please bring friends, family, kids are welcome as well, and we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
And now Jane Lindsay has an announcement about a special New Year's Eve event.
Good morning. Come on out to end this year and to welcome in the new one. On December 31st, we're going to have a potluck in Fellowship Hall. Come for 5:30ish. Bring something you contribute. Children are welcome. We'll have some play area and stuff. and just celebrate the ending and ring in the new. Now, for ringing in the new, we're probably going to ring it in as if we were in London, England, which means we will do it at about 8 p.m. and pretend it's midnight, because some of us don't intend to be here at midnight. So do come out. And I'm looking for some help. Several number of people volunteered already, can use a bit more. And if you come, please do bring something for the potluck. And I hope we get to see you.
And for those hardy souls that want to ring in the new year all around the globe, we'll be open for 24 hours straight. So every year, every hour, we can ring the bell. Oh, okay. I thought it sounded cool, but there's no beds, so maybe it wouldn't be a good idea. We encourage you to sign up to receive the EUU, our weekly email newsletter. Check our Facebook and Instagram pages and our website for notices and updates. Our calendar continues to be as full as ever, as you've heard, though some of our activities take place online. This morning, each of us is welcome. We of any heritage or faith, whatever our burdens, of any culture or race, of any gender or orientation, in any body, all that we are. Today, we are all part of the spiritual community. Welcome.
Thank you, Mariella. Each week we pause together in our time together these mornings in recognition of both the joys and sorrows in our lives and across the globe. We honor our celebrations and challenging by placing stones in bowls of water. As the ripples extend outward, we can imagine those ripples extending out past the edge of the bowl, out, past, and through the pews, out our doors into the larger community of all. Two stones of appreciation and gratitude this morning. Kate, would you mind? Our first stone, following what Mariella said earlier, to Susan and Jody for giving 24 of us or so a beautiful and moving Advent spiral experience last night. This is a tradition to long continue. And a second, a stone of recognition to the Town Council of Halton Hills, who this week said no to expanding the area's natural gas production. Now, this may seem a political statement to some of you, but we are not called by life to be consumers, but rather stewards of this planet we share. And I, for one, am more than happy to have stones placed whenever we see neighbors acting in accordance with that principle. And a stone of care and condolence as well. Sorry, Kate. For the family of Joyce Bear Rogers, who died recently. Joyce had been a member of this congregation for a long time. Her celebration of life will be here on 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon of Mother's Day weekend. Please come forward now and share any joy or concern you have by placing a stone in one of the bowls of water in front of us. Please come forward now. for all that has been shared and all that remains in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. A caring card for Joyce's family is at the back of the hall at our caring table. Please, if you haven't already, on your way out, sign the card. Even if you didn't know Joyce, this is a way we have of thanking those who have given so much to keep this community of faith as vital as it is. And I invite you now into a time of stillness and reflection. After several moments, Jen will bring us back together through the gift of music.
I have a reading from Wintering, The Power of Rest and Retreat in Difficult Times by Catherine May. Everybody winters at one time or another. Some winter over and over again. Wintering is a season in the cold. It's a fallow period in life when you're cut off from the world. Perhaps it results from an illness or a life event such as a bereavement. Perhaps it comes from a humiliation or failure. Perhaps you're in a period of transition and have temporarily fallen between two worlds. Some winterings creep up slowly, accompanying the protracted death of a relationship, the gradual ratcheting up of caring responsibilities as our parents age, the drip, drip, drip of lost confidence. However it arrives, wintering is usually involuntary, lonely, and painful. Yet it's also inevitable. We like to imagine that it's possible for life to be one eternal summer. We dream of an equatorial habitat, forever close to the sun, an endless, unvarying high season. But life's not like that. Even if by some extraordinary stroke of self-control and good luck, we were able to keep control of our health and happiness for an entire lifetime, we still couldn't avoid the winter. Our parents would age and die. Our friends would undertake minor acts of betrayal. The machinations of the world would eventually weigh against us. Somewhere along the line, we would screw up. Winter would quietly roll in. The author says, I learned to winter young. As one of the many girls of my age whose autism went undiagnosed, I spent a childhood out in the cold. At 17, I was hit with a bout of depression that immobilized me for months. But somewhere there, in the depths, I found the seed of a will to live, and its tenacity surprised me. Winter had blanked me, blasted me wide open. Yet in all that whiteness, I saw the chance to make myself new again. I started to build a different kind of a person, one who didn't always do the right thing, but also one who deserved to be here because she now had something to give. For years, I would tell anyone who would listen. I had a breakdown when I was 17. Most people were embarrassed to hear it, but some were grateful to find a shared thread in their story and mine. Either way, I felt with great certainty that we should talk about these things, and that I, having learned some strategies, should share them. I began to get a feel for my winterings, their length and breadth, their heft. I knew they didn't last forever. I'm aware that I fly in the face of polite convention in doing this. The times when we fall out of sync with everyday life remain taboo. We're not raised to recognize wintering or to acknowledge its inevitability. Instead, we tend to see it as a humiliation, something that should be hidden from view. We put on a brave public face and grieve privately. We pretend not to see other people's pain. We treat each wintering as an embarrassing anomaly that should be hidden or ignored. This means we've made a secret of an entirely ordinary process and have thereby given those who endure it a pariah status, forcing them to drop out of everyday life in order to conceal their failure. Yet we do this at great cost. Wintering brings about some of the most profound and insightful moments of our human experience, and wisdom resides in those who have wintered. In our relentlessly busy contemporary world, we are forever trying to defer the onset of winter. We don't even dare to feel its full bite. We don't dare to show the way it ravages us. An occasional sharp wintering would do us good. We must stop believing that these times in our lives are somehow silly, a failure of nerve, a lack of willpower. We must stop trying to ignore them or dispose of them. They are real, and they are asking something of us. We must learn to invite the winter in. We may never choose to winter, but we can choose how.
Today's anthem will be performed by Chalice, but also Chalice and Friends, we will call it. This beautiful piece, Glow by Eric Whitaker, speaks to finding beauty, warmth, light, and hope in wintertime.
It seems so silly to say it, but the world really is a different place, a different thing when there's a blanket of snow. It's different. There are different smells in the air when there's snowfall and during winter. You don't get those in the summer. Summer has different smells, different things, different damned mosquitoes. But winter is a different time in our lives, and wintering, when we go through our own winters, whatever the cause, those are different times as well. That's the prelude. Now we're going to start. Earlier this week, the lights were out in the parking lot of the grocery store I frequent. I was on my way home from work. We are so accustomed, I am so accustomed, we are so accustomed, I am so accustomed to things being the way they should be. Adjusting to the unexpected situation, the folks coming in and out of the grocery store made sure their lights were on. We waited a bit more patiently for one another to make our way back to our cars. It was a small reminder of what Catherine May was talking about in the reading Kate just shared with us. In winter, and when we are wintering, we need to behave even a little bit differently. Different rules apply. One of the things that impressed me during my first winter here in Ottawa with all of you was the pervading sense that to make it through winter here in the Great White North, you have to lean into it. Those who are able have skis, skates, and snowshoes at the ready, and use them whenever opportunities arise. It didn't take me long to realize that the more classic toque I brought with me from the States wasn't going to be enough to survive the winters here. I needed something a little more robust. Do you still call this a toque? No. That's what I thought. Thank you. When I sent a selfie of me in that hat one morning walking the dog to my brother in Austin, Texas, he just said, "Oh my." To repeat, during winter, different rules apply. But cold is relative and variable. We weren't able to skate on the canal this last winter for the first time since skating started then. Hopefully, we will again this year. What is more constant is the gradual loss of daylight and its slow return. That's cold. I also want to talk about darkness this morning as we prepare to celebrate the solstice on Thursday. How many of you can raise your hand if you wish, there's no test or poll. How many of you have ever had the experience in being in literal darkness? No light at all. Oh, I've got questions to ask folks during coffee hour. That's great. I may have said at Christmas Eve, either my first year or last year with you, that when I was young, my parents gave my brother and I one rule on Christmas morning. We could open one present before breakfast, but we could only get up when there was light enough to see your hand in front of your face. Over the years, my brother and I realized something, there was always enough light to see your hand in front of your face. It didn't matter if it was 2 a.m. or 8 a.m., there was always enough light. We could cheat. We just had to then wait around for breakfast and go back to sleep maybe. I don't know. Now, I don't want to read too much into absolutely everything, but my parents may have grown up when things were darker at night than when my brother and I were young. And now, at least at my house, my wife and I have our devices charging with little green lights right next to our sides of the bed. There's never any true darkness in our house. Any hour of the day, we're not used to losing light. So, back to my question. You can raise your hands again. How many of you have been in absolute darkness? Again, we're going to talk more about this in coffee hour. Away from city lights on clear nights, the sky is alive with light. That awesome sight is a topic for another day or series of days. But absolute darkness, no light at all. Blackout curtains help, but they won't get you all the way there, I don't think. Now, for me, the only time I remember being in a space with no light at all was when I was underground. No, not playing dead, caving, spelunking for those who want to put on airs. It was my sophomore year in high school, and my church youth group was taking bonding experiences seriously. One weekend in September, we took a ropes course, how we were going to get all of us from here to there over a boiling bed of lava with only a few ropes and a twig or two. I'm exaggerating a bit. But I'm not exaggerating when I say, how are we going to get all of us over this 10-foot-high wall safely onto the other side? And the leader of that group said that she had once seen someone hoisted by their Levi's jeans, the belt holder. She would only wear Levi's after that. No, this is not an advertisement. I've had the belt loop of Levi's pair of jeans break on me. Just saying. I was a little lighter then than I am now when they broke. Anyhow, the ropes course was not an end to itself. It was the means to an end of going caving and then rock climbing. Regarding the caving, we were told that anyone can wriggle through the space as large as one of their outstretched hands. Now, I didn't believe that then, but then we proved it to ourselves going through a little hole in the rock way down when there was no light. Now, that's something I was willing to try at 15. I'm not willing to try it at 59. We were also told to enter the cave in clothes you never intended to wear again. The scuffs and dirt caked as you wriggled through the rock sealed the grime into the fabric of your shirt, jeans, and sneakers alike. And if we thought that was hyperbole at first, by the time we were done and on the other side and looked at one another, we learned how true that was. We were caked with the muck. But I digress. We were talking about darkness, weren't we? Early on, down below, in a room large enough for all of us to sort of circle up, and on cue, we turned off all our flashlights. Someone's nodding their head. They've had a similar experience, I think. We turned off all our flashlight. And it's a strange thing. Waiting for your eyes to adjust when there's nothing to adjust to. It's not like being outside on a starlit night waiting for your eyes to adjust so you can see more stars. There was nothing to see. And I don't think I was alone in hoping, praying even, that my flashlight batteries would hold their charge. What's the line about atheists in foxholes? Well, no one was shelling us, but this felt a little bit uncomfortably like that. The absence of light is like nothing else. You have to orient yourself differently. You have to re-establish up and down, and where other things are and other people are in relation to you. Now, caving was for Saturday. Sunday was for rock climbing. Now, I have never been, nor will I ever be, good at knots, and after I had inelegantly gotten myself up the face of the rock to the ledge above, I wilted to the point of looking to everyone else like a brag doll. I'm not making that up, as I tried belaying down, getting myself back to safety. But when I was charged with hiking back up and guiding another member of our group, Phil, on his climb up the rock face, that's when things got interesting for me. He was coming up and I was holding the rope, keeping it taut enough so that if he slipped, he wouldn't fall very far. And for the first time in my life, it felt like I had someone else's life in my hands, because I kind of did. As I said, my job was to keep the rope tied to him relatively taut. So like I said, if he if he slipped and fell, he wouldn't fall far. But I didn't give Phil that option. Now, I didn't quite pull him up the rock face, but I didn't give him 1 inch of slack. Afterward, he told me that at some point he had lost his grip and started to fall. I didn't notice. No one was falling on my watch. But again, my undiagnosed attention deficit is coming into play. Let's just name it. I get carried away thinking about these memories because they are ones I've gone back to time and time again, especially during times in my life when I've had to winter. The thing is, those memories have served me well over time. They taught me resilience. They taught me my drive to keep people safe, and how I was never going to let go of Phil. Having experienced real darkness, one appreciates the power of a still-charged AA battery or two. You appreciate each and every source of light. And having a clear and direct responsibility for someone teaches you how much you are not going to let them down. You may have noticed that while the title of this talk is Holiday Mysteries, I'm not talking about holidays at all. More important to me is how we learn to winter, both individually and together. Now, I want to pause now and invite each of you just to sit still. You can close your eyes if you want. You don't have to. This time of year especially, there are so many external expectations. To the extent that you can here and now, I invite you to set those external expectations aside, even for a few moments. This can be a hard time of year, as if the word hard means anything tangible. Rather, the word provides a holding place for emotions like painful, lonely, sad. You may be missing family. You may be missing times when you and yours were closer. These are some of the things we winter at one time or another, but perhaps especially so at this time of year. If you're not caught up happily in the Christmas spirit, where and what are you? The holiday spirit can be so other-directed, outwardly directed. Let's try a different tack. What do you need right now? Now, this isn't a Christmas gift wish list. What do you need? What do you need when light is less and you are facing a long winter to come? Perhaps it's the reassurance of those you love. Perhaps it's time and space for a new start. To forgive yourself or feel yourself forgiven. To feel the courage to do what you need to do. To be, just be, instead of doing all the time. Whatever it is, what do you need at this time of year? And then also, because our own needs are only part of what's important, what can you give? What from you might be just what someone else needs? I'll be quick with this because time is going on. This last Friday afternoon, we had our staff holiday party here at First Unitarian. I asked them if I could bring my wife, and they said, sure. More food and presents for everyone. Good deal. Also on Friday, for the second time, we hosted an elder luncheon for Inuit elders. There were about 100 folks in that room in Fellowship Hall, and they were celebrating one another. The spirit in that room was thick and warm and loving and wonderful. They were having traditional country food, caribou hooves, and less traditional takeout Chinese. And when Ann and I left after the party helping clean up, there were still 20 of the elders, maybe 15, between 15 and 20, and they had been waiting for their cab rides home for almost 2 hours. Now, Friday was a sunny and relatively warm day, but they had just been sitting outside for all that time. Some of them needed their medication back home. Cabs had been arranged, but this was Friday afternoon before the holidays. Cabs around town were taking people home from more holiday staff parties than anyone could count. And so we told their caregiver, their caretaker, the person from TI, we've got room for 2. We can take this. There are other people upstairs. We can give some rides. They didn't want to accept a little help. They kept saying, but it's not your responsibility. Yes, maybe it's not technically our responsibility, but we're willing to help. Sometimes things don't go according to the best made plans. We can help. Please, let us. Oh, you're the minister? Okay, we can trust you, maybe. And so Ann and I gave Nala and Billy a ride back to their apartments. Turned out it was actually on our way home, not out of the way at all. And we joked as we talked with them in the car about how for Ann and I, moving to Ottawa was going way up north, and for Nala and Billy, it was going south. In winter, it's clear, this is what we know living where we do, there's all the more reason to help one another along the way. We have challenges we all face. We have this alike. I wish we as a society, and so I'm talking to you, at least one part of that larger society, had the same understanding of what it means to winter, for us, each of us, to go through the winters of our lives, whether they come at this time of year, they often do, or at any time of year. As Kate shared with us from the reading, and I'll misquote it here, I'm sure, if we never winter, we've either been terribly lucky or just, I don't know what. Our parents will grow older. We will lose loved ones along the way. We will mess up. It just works that way. And so now I just want to read you one other point, because times of wintering and winters also end. And in the closing of her book, Catherine May puts it better than I can. Come spring, or when our time of wintering is over, we must emerge slowly. We must test the air and be ready to shrink back into safety when blasted by unseasonable winds. We must gradually unfurl our new wings. There will still be the debris of a long, disordered season. These are the moments when we have to find the most grace, when we come to atone for the worst ravages of our conduct in darker times, when we have to tell truths that we'd rather ignore. Sometimes we will have to name our personal winters, and the words will feel barbed in our throats. Grief, rejection, depression, illness, shame, failure, despair. It often seems easier to stay in winter, burrowed down into our hibernation nests, away from the glare of the sun. But we are brave, and the new world awaits us, gleaming and green, alive with the beating of wings. So may it be. Thank you, one and all. Amen.
So, as the house band gets set up, we're going to do a quick little run through for y'all because we want you to join us in. We're singing the song Happy Christmas, War is Over by John Lennon and Yoko Ono. What we're going to do is start with the second verse, which has two parts. The really easy part is kind of war is over, the part in the parentheses. So that's one part. And then the other part is the full verse with all the words. So what we're going to do the first time through is Guy and I are going to sing just the war is over part, so everybody sing along with that. Then we're going to do it where he sings the verse part, and I sing the war is over so you can hear what it sounds like when they go back and forth. Then we're going to start for real. Okay, so.
War is over if you want it. War is over now.
So now we're going to sing the first part of the second verse. Key will start with the words. I'll be doing the war is over. So you're welcome when we get going, then we'll go right into the song. You're welcome to join in either the War is Over group, which is this group, or Guy and I will be singing the verse. So just enjoy. So that we're going to do.
So this is Christmas, and what have you done? And I'm in the wrong verse. The rich and the poor ones, the road is so long, and so happy Christmas. Good enough?
Okay.
All right.
So now we're going to start it off. Closer to the microphone.
That's okay. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, they can hear me. Oh, yeah. So this is Christmas, And what have you done? Another year over, and a new one just begun. And so this is Christmas. I hope you have fun. The near and the dear ones, the old and the young. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. So this is Christmas, for weak and for strong, the rich and the poor ones. The road is so long, and so happy Christmas, for black and for white, for yellow and red ones. Let's stop all the fight. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. And so this is Christmas, and what have we done? Another year over, and a new one just begun. And so happy Christmas. We hope you have fun. The near and the dear ones, the old and the young. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. War is over if you want it. War is over now. War is over if you want it. War is over now. War is over if you want it. War is over now. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much to the band. I invite the ushers to start passing the baskets at this time. This congregation has a long history of care, vitality, and bringing people together to move the arc of justice forward. We've been able to live into our hopes and our dreams because of the generosity of those within and beyond this community. Whether you're here in Worship Hall or anywhere else, you are a part of this community. To make a gift in support of the work of this congregation, you don't need to use the baskets that are now beginning to make their way among our pews. Wherever you are invited to go to our website or contact our finance manager to find out how to make a donation or keep up with your pledge. Our gifts are freely given and gratefully received. We dedicate these gifts to the work of this community of faith, serving human wholeness, caring for the planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, and loving one another. And now let us sing together once more. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing We Are, which is number 1051 in the Teal hymnal, and the words will be on the screen above.
Please be seated. We are a mighty, well-singing, beautiful singing crew. Before we close this time of worship and reflection, a reminder that our coffee hour will begin in Fellowship Hall in just a couple minutes. And if you are new here, or still feel new, or simply welcome a good conversation today, please pick up a green mug as you enter Fellowship Hall. Doing so will help others look toward good conversation with you. And let me see if I have this right. On Wednesday at 2:30, anyone who wishes is welcome to join us as we go caroling at Unitarian House. On Thursday at 6:30, we have carols and cocoa in Fellowship Hall. And on New Year's Eve, we will gather for fellowship and celebrating London, if not later, New Year's here on New Year's Eve. And now, as we prepare to extinguish our morning's chalice, let's do so by these words from Leslie Takahashi. All that we have ever loved, all that we have ever been, stands with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create: a deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, and a deeper joy in this life we share. Our chalice is extinguished this morning, yet the spark of our connections and faith remain. Let us sing together now, first in English and then in French, Spirit of Life. And now, as we return to the challenge of helping the world come alive in love, let us go with the spirit of this season in our hearts. Go in peace, my friends. Go in peace.